Guys, I've been avoiding sugar for like 50 days. Isn't that amazing? It gets easier and easier. I'm starting to get to the point where I go throughout my day and I don't even crave food. Now, is that a good thing? Not necessarily. I don't want to get down to 140 pounds or anything crazy, but it just goes to show you that with my body type, if I stay away from sugar a little bit longer than most people are able to, you really start to lose pounds quickly once you hit that tipping point. Guys, I have really fantastic good news today. The Palm Beach County Sheriff Office in Florida, in coalition with their forces behind the FBI, worked together, guys, to actually stop a mass shooting. The Palm Beach County officer that was speaking at first on this video I was watching said, quote, "It was just a matter of what day was going to set him off to do it." This guy they found, his name is Damian Allen. Here's a picture of him right now, okay? He actually had multiple uniforms of Palm Beach County Sheriff officers. He also had uniforms, get this, from FBI officers and even Marines. Various uniforms in his possession. Apparently, some people got a hold and figured out what he was going to do. And apparently they tipped off the feds, and like I said, they worked together with the local authorities to actually thwart this. You're not going to believe what they found at this dude's house. When I look at his picture, and by the way, just heard about this story a couple of minutes ago, so it's really fresh in my mind. But when I look at this guy's picture, is it just me, or does he look like he's 19 years old? I mean, for all I know, he's 30, but when you look at his face, looks incredibly young. He's a Loxahatchee, I'm probably saying that wrong, I apologize, Loxahatchee, Florida resident, and he basically got in trouble for impersonating law enforcement officers. He did plan on committing mass violence, according to their investigation. And again, when I tell you all the weapons he had, I think you guys are going to be amazed. His plan was to attack not only civilians, but his plan was to actually focus on attacking law enforcement facilities. The Palm Beach County Sheriff's Office uniform that he had included the badge, the equipment given to all officers, fully automatic weapons. He had 12,000 rounds in his apartment or house. He identified 7 places that he planned on striking. He planned on attacking churches and police precincts. He had 7 targets altogether. Guys, this guy had body armor. He had grenades. He even had a fake body cam. I mean, if this guy pulled you over, you would just assume that this guy was a full-blown cop. Oh, geez. How many people come up to people like that? Holy moly, can't you just drive normal? So here's the weird thing. When people plan on doing these things, I think there's a piece of them that wants to get caught. That way they can kind of look like the bad guy without ever officially being the bad guy. So check this out. In his apartment, the officers and investigators found 300 pounds of ammunition. This guy had grenades, flashbangs, 18 fully automatic firearms, 1 taser, 15 airsoft guns, 12,000 rounds of ammunition. He even had a police laptop and multiple uniforms, including FBI uniforms. This guy was going to go out and destroy people, and then every time he turned a corner, you would be thinking that you were in the presence of a police officer, so you would be thinking he was the good guy trying to find the bad guy. Apparently, he had a full-blown Crown Victoria vehicle that even had the little laptop station that a lot of these police cars have inside. We're talking he would have fooled you, me, and everybody else, unless you were a legit officer. When I was in my early 20s, if you guys are in my age group, 40s and 50s, you might remember this. I think it happened in California. there were two guys that had bulletproof vests, and God, I want to say they had a tank, but I might be wrong on that. But they had so much bulletproof armor and guns that they were literally able to steal a bunch of money from a bank. And it's so crazy because I told myself when I was watching it that I would never ever forget it. It was right up there with watching OJ driving the Ford Bronco down the freeway and all the cops were chasing from behind, right? It was right up there. But to be honest with you, now that it's like 30 years ago, I can't remember if they had a tank or not. But I just remember there were two guys, they robbed a bank, and they were shooting at every single cop that they could find. It was the most spectacular police versus bad guy shootout that I had ever seen. Finally, they took those guys down. Do you guys remember that? Corolla 7539 says, it's terrible. How did he get the police uniforms, the gear, the firearms, the ammo, the car? Guys, he had a freaking police car. How would the average person know who was a legitimate law enforcement agent? Question mark. It's scary. It's actually terrifying. That's the type of thing where if they made a movie about it, right? Who would be the perfect bad cop? Ray Liotta. They would have Ray Liotta going out, helping damsels in distress, and then right when they thought that they were safe, Ray Liotta would pop out and ha-ha, you know, and he'd go nutso on them. That's what this guy was planning on doing. He was planning on looking like the good guy. Imagine there's a shootout, and around the corner, a police car comes with a young police officer. All of a sudden, he gets out with his weapon. He's the only person in the whole world that can be in front of you with a weapon, and you wouldn't think anything of it. Could you imagine that scenario? And all of a sudden he starts pulling the trigger and taking you out. Because instead of running, you were pulling out your phone to go viral. Could you imagine? Oh my God, my pants are falling down. You know why? Because I'm losing weight. That's what happens. By the way, that's why I don't like to get too light when it comes to my weight. Because if I get to the point where I'm 155 pounds or less, all of a sudden I got to start wearing belts. And not belts because, oh, it's a belt, it looks nice. No, it's belts because otherwise your pants fall down. Sometimes as we get smaller, we lose that I don't know, buff look that we can have when we're a little overweight. So again, if it were up to me, I'd be doing some push-ups and stuff, but I've got tendonitis. And I'm telling you, not the most fun feeling to have. If you've ever had tendonitis, let me know, man. It feels like electrical shocks. I think I'm gonna go back to the shoulder specialist if it doesn't feel better in the next 2 or 3 weeks. Susan, I am 8FP says, the world has gone mad. Thank you for your work in preventing this tragedy. Well, this was one of those things where he was on the FBI's radar, and they were able to work together with the Palm Beach authorities there, and they were able to take him down. Here's the one thing we do know. If he would have gotten courage to go forward with it, because I think that's the only thing that was holding him back. He had plenty of weapons, right? I think he just needed a little courage. If he would have gotten that courage, he would have been able to take out hundreds of people. So thank goodness. Can you believe this guy had 300 pounds worth of ammo? Holy moly. Morvan TG says, how could he afford all this stuff? Who was financing him? Morvan TG, I'm going to tell you the truth. The reason he could afford all this stuff is because where you and I buy trinkets and goofy shit from China, like YouTube lights, how do you explain that? That you're buying YouTube lights? Oh, just me? Anyway, because we spend all of our goofy money on goofy stuff, some people spend all of their money on their hobby. And it sounds like in this guy's case, his hobby was not going out, not playing video games. His hobby was buying a lot of weapons. And that's what he did. That's why if you really want to change your life, you know the best thing you can do? Start collecting $20 bills. Start collecting $100 bills. Before you know it, you'll have a pretty nice collection. Right now, someone's thinking, oh my God, what a great idea. Start collecting $20 bills. Start collecting $100 bills. And this time next year, you'll have so much money saved, it'll blow you away. Did Jesse say his pants were falling down? Yes. My shorts are literally falling down. It's not because they're not capable of staying up without a belt. It's because I have my cell phone in my back pocket, but I've had my cell phone in my back pocket for the last 2 or 3 months, and it wasn't pulling my clothes down. Now it is. Why? Because I've been staying away from sugar long enough to start losing pounds. It's awesome. You can do it too. Sugar tastes great and it's easy to get addicted to, but it's not that difficult to get away from as long as you can just get away from it. Jesse, that doesn't make any sense. I know. Deborah, big A, E3Y says, if you see something, say something. Deborah, I agree. If you see something crazy, one of your neighbors has one too many guns, right? Has one too many crazy looking people at his house at weird hours of the night, say something. I don't know if that's a good reason to say something, but you know what I mean. If you know somebody's doing something like this guy, say something. A lot of times people like this will make comments because they want to secretly see if you're on their side, right? So whenever somebody says comments like this, you know what this reminds me of? Did you guys ever see that great movie in the 80s or 90s? I think it was in the early 90s. It was called Tremors with Kevin Bacon. Oh my God, one of Kevin Bacon's best movies. Nobody cares for it, but I love it. In that movie, they go to Michael Gross, I think that was his name, the guy, he was the dad from Family Ties, and Reba McEntire, the country music star. If you remember, they had a bunch of weapons, like they were ready for the end of the world, right? Bunch of just, they could have taken out the whole town 10 times over, right? But they were perfect to fight these tremor worms that were underneath the ground. Well, that's what this guy was, only he knows there's no such thing as a tremor worm. This is embarrassing. My clothes are literally falling down. Guys, you know what that means? That means the Jessinator is literally losing weight right before your eyes. I wanted this to be a channel about losing weight, but you guys couldn't handle the truth. We're about eliminating calories the way this guy was about eliminating law enforcement, right? That's what we're about on this channel. We are serially eliminating, don't want to say that word, we are eliminating calories like there's no tomorrow. Bingo 7799 says, amazing how much these evil monsters broadcast their intentions ahead of time. If it is reported and law enforcement doesn't ignore it, lives can be saved. I felt like I said that one already. But anyway, I think we can all agree, people have a want to tell on themselves. I think cheaters do this in relationships. Think about this. If somebody really didn't want you to know anything, they would get a second cell phone. They would literally go pay for a second apartment somewhere, and they would find a way for you never to find out. But deep down, there's a little bit of us that wants to be caught when we do these evil things. For some of you, that won't make any sense. You'll think, no, that's not true. But for others of you, you'll know exactly what I mean. Every time we do something bad, we almost always leave an opening in there for somebody to grab a clue and figure out what we've done. That's right, guys. That's right. There's a part of us deep down, no matter how much horrible things we do, there's a part of us that wants to get caught, because even deep down us, when we're doing horrible things, we still believe in justice. This guy was just screaming for somebody to catch him, because now, forever in his life, he'll be known as that guy that was this close to doing something dangerous, but he can go to heaven at the end of his life and say, hey, I never harmed a soul. See? As crazy as this sounds, you would rather be this kid than somebody that goes out and accomplishes the bad stuff. So anyway, I would love to know your thoughts. Obviously, it was just me babbling again, but am I right? Is there a piece of us that actually wants to get caught when we do bad? Is there a clue or two that almost everybody does when maybe they're cheating on somebody or maybe they're doing something they're not supposed to be doing? You ever heard that saying, like, thou protestest too much, right? From Shakespeare or whatever? I hear YouTubers say it. I never heard Shakespeare say shit. I hear YouTubers say it. But there's something to that, right? If somebody accuses you of something, if you're innocent, you don't let it bother you at all because you're innocent. But when you're guilty, you just attack that person that's attacking you. It's kind of a fatal flaw of the guilty, right? That's just like that person that's trying to steal stuff from the department store. They go right up to the manager and they start asking a million questions while their partner's in the back stealing shit. Yeah, they think they're special. They're just replaying the same thing that the simulation is always kicking out. Speaking of the simulation always kicking out, why don't you and I become that background character that walks every day and lives forever? If we're gonna be a background character, damn it, let's make it count and do it forever. Have a great night. I'll see you tomorrow.